Hello, everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk But No Politics, okay? Here on the Helium Radio Network. Come to you every Friday at 7 p.m., bringing you bonus episodes of Let's Talk But No Politics, okay? Because all the main episodes of Let's Talk But No Politics, okay, can be found on the network at bicbp-radio.com. So check out those episodes. If you'd like the bonus episodes, the main episodes are, I feel, just as good. So please go check that out. I'm also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, and Amazon Music as well. So please go check me out on those platforms as well. And doing ranking or tiering, ranking, however you want to call it again. I'm still looking for guests for more of the what's your pop culture. So if you want to do that, please hit me with send me an email. That's letstalk716@gmail.com. So please send that out. If you want to be a part of the show, you could just talk to me about what pop culture means to you. And it's always a great time. Sometimes it goes over and I got to split it into two parts. And it is always fun to do so. But here's our sponsor, the Podcast Precinct. They are located in North Tonawanda, New York. So if you live in the Western New York area and you want a podcast, but you don't want to spend the tons of money on equipment, please go see the Podcast Precinct. They are a fully functional studio with great equipment, soundproof recording area, and they will help you out along your podcast journey, whether it's helping you with social media, helping you with, just your podcast, helping things out at that aspect as well. Need logos or anything like that, they could probably help you. They can help you out with that as well. So please go check them out. And they also have fun game nights as well, because it's not only are you like a client of the Podcast Precinct, but you're also part of the Podcast Precinct family as well. So a lot of fun goes into that, and they're always doing something great over there. So if you live in Western New York, you want to start a podcast, or are thinking about starting a podcast, please go check out the Podcast Precinct. You can find them on Facebook. Just shoot them a message, let them know what's up, and they can help you on that journey. So like I said, we're doing some ranking and tiering. It's on the Tier Maker if you're watching this on YouTube. And it is, some people call it ranking, more tiering. Tiering is a little bit different than ranking. Ranking is more like 1 through 10. Tiering is like what tier. You can have multiple kind of number ones. It's a little bit easier to tier than I think to rank or to list in my mind. So it is 90s sitcoms. Really, really great stuff. Some of these on there, were in the 80s, started in the late 80s, but they go into the 90s. So they're still on there. And we have 5 different tiers. All-time classic, which means that it's just amazing. It's going to be one of my favorites of all time. I probably rewatched it on Netflix, Hulu, or one of the other streaming services. Good for the times means, yeah, I watched it. It was cool, growing up. I don't think I'll go back. I might watch an episode of two like on a streaming service, but nothing I'm going to sit there and like binge watch. Middle of the road means, yeah, I watched maybe a couple of seasons and then was like, you know what? I'm done with this. Would watch if nothing else is on. I gotta switch that. See, I do everything on the fly. I try not. Would watch if nothing else is on. Let me change that W. I do everything on nothing scripted here, and I don't like. I want to be pure, pure like the driven snow. I make mistakes. I am human. So would watch if nothing else is on means now, or as growing up, flipping through the channels, it's on syndication. I'm like, oh, that's on. I guess I'll watch it. And the bottom one is I just didn't watch it, or just didn't care for it. Just didn't watch or just didn't care for it, which means didn't interest me, or it was probably there, but I probably never seeked it out because there was something else on at that time that just totally was, I thought in my mind was better. So let's get into this because I only got like a half an hour with you guys. It's weird for the people on YouTube probably to hear that, but I only got a half an hour. So Drew Carey show. I'm gonna say good for the time. Borderline almost classic. I don't think I would rewatch every single episode. It got a little. It's one of those shows that got a little over saturated, I thought, towards the end. Like it was like, oh my goodness, I think I'm ready for the show to end. It could go either way, but I think the best spot for it, like it could go middle of the road with me, but I think it's better than that. But it's not an all-time classic, so it's definitely good for the time because it just wasn't. I don't remember the finale of it. I'm not. Like I said, I'm not binge watching Drew Carey show all over again. Maybe I'll watch like a first couple episodes or something like that. But other than that, not going to do it. Wayne's Brothers, I do believe they were on UPN. And it was something that I kind of got, I was a late start into it. And do not hate me because this is one of those, I watched it. It's either middle of the road or would watch if nothing else is on. But I'm going to go put it more middle of the road. I've only seen maybe a handful of episodes. And I pretty much did watch it when nothing else was on. But this was something that I actually enjoyed. So if I was like, hey, Wayne's Brothers is on, not like, oh, I guess I'm watching the Wayne's Brothers. No, I get kind of excited. Like, oh, the Wayne's Brothers are on. We got to do this. So that is where that goes. Definitely middle of the road in my mind, in my 90s TV viewership. News Radio, I think, is a very underrated classic. I'm actually kind of shocked I don't see any. This is one that I would watch over again. I'm going to put this in all-time classic because this was a show that even when it was in syndication, I seeked it out. I wanted to watch News Radio. Dave Foley, Joe Rogan, Andy Dick, Phil Hartman, R.I.P. You know, just a great cast of characters, worked very, very well together, and just a totally, totally awesome show. So, News Radio, I didn't think I would ever say that, but I think in my mind it's an all-time classic. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. This is the one with Melissa Joan Hart. Where do I want to go with this? I'm gonna go good for the time because I watched it. It was TGI Friday. I watched it. Not gonna lie, I had a little crush on Melissa Joan Hart, so it was definitely good for the time. Would I rewatch it? No. Would I watch maybe an episode here or there? Yes. But other than that, no. Full House, I would not seek this out. But I know it's on Hulu, but in my mind, it's still an all-time classic because it's Full House. It's just an awesome, awesome show all the way around. I love Full House. love Full House. Who doesn't love Full House? So that it's just all-time classic. Murphy Brown, middle of the road. I thought I maybe would have put that higher. But Murphy Brown was more of those adult episodes. I was kind of like, well, Murphy Brown's on. We're watching Murphy Brown. But I did grow to love Candice Bergen as Murphy Brown. It was great. Great show. Coach. I want to put in all-time classic, but I'm going to go good for the time. It was awesome to see kind of a TV show where it was a football coach. I'm a huge football fan. I co-host What If episodes, and NFL history episodes over on the 2 Point Conversation. So to see this as a kid, that was kind of cool. It was really cool in my mind. So I really enjoyed Coach. Just going to do good for the time, though. I don't see it being an all-time classic. It's like that with the Drew Carey Show. It's very borderline. Very borderline to almost all-time classic. Family Matters. Well, is there any other spot for this? Is there any other spot? All-time classic. All the way. It's Family Matters. It's up there with Full House. I did a whole episode with Johnny Townsend of Retro Bliss and Retro Pop about, Full House over Family Matters and why some people might shift to one side and why some people might shift to the other side. They're both all-time classics. They're up there. It has to be that way. Iconic characters in my mind. You got Urkel, Carl. The odd couple pairing of Urkel and Carl is up there in iconic duos. I feel in my mind. The Nanny, middle of the road. Yeah, nothing. It was cool for a little bit, but it was like, oh my goodness. When is Fran going to marry Mr. Sheffield? And it finally happened. And by that point, you're like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. So definitely middle of the road. Blossom. Mila Bialik, Joey Lawrence. Almost all-time classic. I'm going to go good for the time. Definitely good for the time. I would watch a couple of episodes of these. I don't think I would binge watch this at all. But like I said, some great characters. Brother Tony, Joey Lawrence, Mila Bialik as Blossom, Six. Just some great overall characters. And I think what makes a great TV show is how many of the characters are memorable and how many do you just kind of forget. So that the lot of memorable characters in there. Martin, that's an all-time classic because this was one of those like shows I watched as a kid, and it was like pretty cool to watch Martin Lawrence go through, do everything that he does, and the comedy in there as well, and Shanae, his neighbor from across the hall. So you got to see a lot of different sides of everything. And it was really, really, I thought it was really great as a kid. I would still probably watch it today. Definitely. Dharma and Greg. You know what? Would watch if nothing else is on. I don't have too many great memories of Dharma and Greg where I'm like, oh, I remember that from Dharma and Greg. Not at all. Grace Under Fire. Kind of cool because single mom. I was raised by a single mom. So this was a show that she definitely enjoyed. How did I feel about it though? Middle of the road. I don't remember too much. I don't remember too much about the show. It just seemed to follow a lot of different patterns as well. Don't remember too much. Sybil. I did watch Sybil with Sybil Shepherd. That's kind of just middle of the road as well too. Not a whole lot of great memories on it. And that's how it is. Here's another one like the Wayans Brothers. I think they were like UPN or something like that. Jamie Foxx show. Very good. I wish I could have seen more of it, but I didn't. And I do catch the reruns if it is on. So I could have put it in and watched nothing else is on, but Jamie Foxx was something where it was exciting that it was on, not like, oh, I guess I'm watching this. I'm seeing a lot more middle of the road stuff as I'm going down this list than anything else, which is shocking, maybe. Because normally I'm throwing everything at the top. Carolina City, another middle of the road, kind of cool cartoon type thing, but in my mind, I don't remember any of the characters. And like I said, you got to have the standout characters as well. Suddenly Susan, middle of the road. Nothing. It was good. Actually, I'll put it in for good for the time because that was something we did watch. And then I kind of got ruined when I found out that Judd Nelson was also in the Breakfast Club as a child and kind of just destroyed things. I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to put it there because I can't really recognize any of these people. I think it was the LL Cool J show. I'm not 100%, so I'm just going to put there. Empty Nest, good for the time. I remember the dog, Dreyfus, the nurse, his two daughters, the Quagmire-like neighbor, Family Guy infringement kind of going on. If you ever watched Empty Nest, the guy that's a pilot and he's always very promiscuous. So, yeah, but it was a good show. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely watch a couple episodes of that. Doogie Howser. We'll go. Like I'm Venom or something. I'll go good for the time. It was cool to see when I was a little kid to see the kid doctor and to think somebody was like that intelligent. It was like, wow, look at that. He's already a doctor and he graduated school and everything else. That's pretty amazing. So I got to give it that. Dinosaurs is an all-time classic because you can go back and you can remember certain things. Probably one of the saddest season finales ever. Where they're just kind of sitting there waiting for the world to end. But very, very, very good. Catch it on Disney Plus. I already have. I haven't been watching it all the way through, but I do a lot of watching. The Wonder Years, all-time classic. I actually about a year or two watched every single episode of The Wonder Years. Amazing show. Just an amazing show. Even though I was not born in the 60s or lived through the 60s, it's very relatable to adolescent youth growing up. So that's why I've got to put it all-time classic. I don't know what this evening is. I'm just going to put it there. I don't know what it is. If anybody does know, let me know in the comments. Definitely check it out. Seinfeld. This is where a lot of people hate Seinfeld. They don't like it. I think Seinfeld was it takes a certain type of humor to kind of enjoy Seinfeld. You kind of just got to enjoy nonsense, I feel. But I think it's an all-time classic. And, I would rewatch a couple episodes of Seinfeld. If not, try and binge watch it all the way through. So Seinfeld is the all-time classic for me. Fresh Prince of Bel Air, all-time classic. How can it not be? That's just one of those passes that just go right up in there. Do I have to say enough? It's Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Married with Children, same thing. Boom, all-time classic. Do I really have to explain the awesomeness that is Married with Children? Wings. Oh. Wings. Where do I want to go with Wings? The Boys from the Nantucket. The airline going there. It's middle of the road or good for the time. I'm gonna go middle of the road because they did some cast changes that I didn't really enjoy. So it's awesome. I might watch an episode or two, but nothing I'm seeking out. Living Single, I'll say good for the time. It was very weird. I remember my mom watching it. It's something that was kind of cool. And you see Kim Fields as Tootie in there, but it was a good show. Well, once again, I'm not binge watching it, but I would recommend it. It's got a spot in the memory there. Third Rock from the Sun, good for the time. Watched a lot of it. I didn't watch it from the beginning. I watched it more in syndication, but it's a really great, it's still kind of a worked concept of the alien. So that's how that goes. Beavis and Butthead, I don't think it would hang, but still all-time classic. That's pretty much, a lot of these are a lot of enough said. Home Improvement's an all-time classic. Loved Home Improvement. Mad About You, I got more into, I don't know why, I went through like this Mad About You stage when it was in syndication, and I just watched like every single episode, and it was pretty awesome all the way through. Living Color just had an anniversary, but that's an all-time classic. Give me some more Living Color. Boy Meets World, all-time classic. Sister Sister, good for the time. Not gonna seek it out. Not gonna seek it out. Not gonna do anything. Ellen, the only I gotta go middle of the road. We watched Ellen. My mom, like any kid growing up in like the 80s or 90s, pretty much only like one TV. Your parents controlled it, or if you had more TVs, you only had cable going to one of them. The only thing I can severely say that I remember about Ellen was the big controversy over the kiss. Friends, probably gonna get some hate for this. Good for the time. Might watch a couple episodes. Nothing great. Spin City, same thing. Good for the time. I think Michael J. Fox's best sitcom of all time is Family Ties. And then Mr. Cooper, all good for the time. You gotta love hanging with Mr. Cooper. Even when they went through the changes, just absolute classic. Saved by the Bell, all-time classic. It's still, yeah, Mr. Cooper, not all-time classic, but borderline up there, I would have to say. Frasier, a spinoff of Cheers. I would still have to put an all-time classic. I try to watch it after watching Cheers, but I've noticed some Cheers plot holes between the two. So there you go. Cosby Show, I don't care. You can say what you want. Bill Cosby did some things. But if we're looking at the show, it is an amazing show. It is an absolute amazing show all the way to the end. You know, you remember all the kids, all the antics that he did, all the things that he did for Theo. Absolutely amazing. Cosby Show. I know Bill Cosby is taking a hit, but the Cosby Show should not. It has his name, but it should not take the hit with it. Please enjoy the Cosby Show. Simpsons, even though I haven't watched it in a long time, it's been on forever, but it still needs to be an all-time classic. Still has to be there. Roseanne, here's another one that is good for the time, because after a while it got boring. It got really boring. Not like The Simpsons, where you could put The Simpsons, like that has to be there. Roseanne, I think, is just good for the time. Nothing too spectacular. I gotta scroll down for the last two. Step by Step. Good for the time. And Hang Time, watched if nothing else was on. So there's the list. Give you a quick rundown. All-time classics: News Radio, Full House, Family Matters, Martin, Dinosaurs, Wonder Years, Seinfeld, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Married with Children, Beavis and Butthead, Home Improvement, Mad About You, In Living Color, Boy Meets World, Saved by the Bell, Frasier, The Cosby Show, The Simpsons, Good for the Times, Drew Carey Show, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Coach, Blossom, Suddenly Susan, Empty Nest, Doogie Howser MD, Living Single, Third Rock from the Sun, Sister Sister, Friends, Spin City, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Roseanne, Step by Step, Middle of the Road, Wayne's Brothers, Murphy Brown, The Nanny, Grace Under Fire, Sybil, The Jamie Foxx Show, Caroline in the City, Wings, Ellen, and would watch if nothing else is on, Darman and Greg, and Hang Time. And for I don't know what those were, so I can't tell you if I either watched them or just didn't care for them. But thank you for listening or watching. I'm Andrew Lenz, and this is Let's Talk But No Politics Okay. So please check us out every Sunday on the BICBP Radio Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. Go check out the Facebook page. Go check out YouTube to watch the video. And also there's some great videos of great retro gameplay and this week in pop culture history review. So please go check that all out. And thank you for watching, listening. I cannot do this without you. And with that being said, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.